your digital dignity. Keep your identity. Keep your privacy. Keep your individuality. Keep your freedom. Keyp.
Hello, I'm Maximilian. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Keyp. And today I have the great honor to present you the first digital identity framework. And to start with, we have to understand the problem of digital identities. And as all of you may know, we have this. We have over 120 different accounts per user. And this number is increasing on a monthly basis because of SaaS solutions, because of connected devices. But if we look at it from another point of view, we are talking about billions of different user databases. Over the whole internet, we have tons of different user databases. We have tons of different digital identity providers, and this is why it looks like that. But if you want to really understand this problem, we have to look a bit more into detail how it works. So what you see here are identity solutions. So basically, every single company has at least one user database, has at least one ID layer. Some of them are distributing it to others, like we see here. Some of them are just using it internally. And around those user databases, we have different providers that are verifying parts of it. This can be identification providers like video identification, but can also be authentication providers. And around that, we have different types of identity standards, like OpenID Connect or SML. And the problem with this already complex market is that it's regulated. So when we look at it from a national point of view, we have different regulations depending on the country. For example, the European Union has the GDPR. But we also have different regulations in different industries. The automotive industry has other regulations than the banking industry. And so you can say that for the user, his identity, his digital identity is fragmented. He has not just one, but plenty. So let me ask you one question. Why do we don't have this problem in the real world? Because we have a wallet. We have a wallet which is a storage for identity attributes provided by third parties. We have different cards in our wallets that we can use and that we can provide to the companies. But on the other side, for the companies, so those parties that are consuming those personal data, we have terminals where they can choose with whom of the providers which cards they want to accept. They want to work with for identifying their users and using the service. And that's what we built with Keyp. We created a virtual wallet, a virtual storage where user can store all types of identity solutions. It works not just for identification, but also for authentication. And by doing this, this means when we can collect and store all of our different identity solutions in one place at our own device, for example, the smartphone, then every access becomes a one-click solution. And this is something I want to present you now. So we have an example. Let's assume I receive a package. So if I want to get this parcel, I normally have to do a signature to identify myself with. With Keyp, I can now just use an app where I scan the QR code, which is printed on the parcel from the post. And I scan it. And what you can see now is that I already verified my ID card once here, and that I can use it from now. I just have to confirm it, and I have to authenticate myself with my face in this term. and I got the parcel. So I did the whole experience, which was offline nowadays, with a signature, completely digital, within the law, because I used a video identification of my ID card. And if I want to do it again, just to show you, it will not work, because I already received it. But this is not just working for parcels and QR codes. We can even use it for the desktops or any other digital access. So I can just go here and having the same experience in this term, I have my email address, which I verified also once, and I just want to log into this platform, and I'm in the platform as well. So by doing this, as we can see, we make the login smart, because we enable any login, any digital login, to be any type of form, not just a button, but a QR code or a Bluetooth connection or NFC or geofence. So any digital access, any digital standard can be used to connect myself with, which means we create a true multi-channel experience for the users. But as I said before, when we looked into the problems, it's not just about the user, it's also about the enterprise. It's one thing to enable the users to store his identity at his own device and share it with companies. But it's another thing to enable companies to configure their own logins. And this is why we present the world's first smart access, which enables enterprises to configure their digital accesses in real time and implement it in their existing systems via plug and play. And we are doing this by changing the way of access management into a workflow where we can, via drag and drop, configure those logins. And how this works, I want to introduce you to Jonathan, who will have a deeper look into our technology.
Thank you very much. My name is Jonathan. I'm head of product of Keyp, and I can now explain you a little bit more how our identity terminal works for enterprise customers. So I need the clicker. And can show you that the first thing an enterprise needs if they want to configure such a smart access are triggers. Trigger can be a QR code, it can be a push notification I receive, or it also can be, as explained, a NFC or a Bluetooth connection. So the enterprise decides, depending on the use case, whatever they need to get in touch with the identity wallet of their users and consumers. The second step is that each enterprise has specific access policies. So this is why we introduced Keyplets as small atomic identity solutions that the enterprise can choose for to give access to their digital services. So a Keyplet can be ID card, a driver's license, a phone number, or an email address. But also could be an authentication method like face recognition or a biometric behavior that I have holding my phone in my hand. The last step that the terminal, also in the real world, makes them so successful is integrations. Integrations are needed in the landscape of identity against all existing standards. So we need to integrate against OpenID, against SAML, Active Directory, and that's already provided by IC Consult, our system integrator. So let's have a look how I now can configure the same user experience and the same use case that Max already presented to you. I'm now here inside of the Keyp terminal with Max account, who already logged in here previously. And what we're doing is we are creating a new And a workflow in that sense is a specific configuration for one access that I'm now able to manage via the Keyp technology. The first thing we need to configure is the QR code. So Max saw a QR code on his desktop to log into the terminal. But the second time he uses this login, he wants to receive a push notification because it's obviously much more convenient. So I can configure that here as well. And the last configuration is that he wants to have a mobile button as soon as he accesses from his mobile device. So we put that here as well. So a classic web login is configured in that sense. The second step was his email address. So he was using his email to log in, and we configure here that as well. And our backend speaks OpenID, so I configure that as well. Now this policy is defined, and we could directly publish that to our service, but there's one step we added, which is a live simulation. Because what I now created is at the end Max's user experience. So I need to check whether this is valid and it works for him the same way he did it before. So please, Max, just scan this QR code here. So now as an administrator, I can test. And you can see it's the same user experience. He gets requested to hand over his email address and can log in to the live simulation. So we have tested it, and now we can continue with publishing this to our service. Publishing with Keyp contains 3 steps. The first one is the pricing decision. So I have to decide which licensing type I want to use for my login. As I expect him to log in regularly, I choose a subscription instead of a pay-per-use model. So luckily, this is for free, and I can continue to the next step. This is the terms and use section. So every identity provider and every Keyplet has its own terms of use. So we will accept here now the terms of use so that I have now a contract with these identity providers. Last step are internal compliance checks. Every company has internal compliance that says under which conditions and regulatory steps a new access can be released. So that's why I accept our OpenID Connect terms and can now publish the service. And this is also completely new, because with Keyp you have real-time access management that you can do just via drag and drop and publish it completely and roll it out to users within just some seconds. So let's have a look how the logistic company configured the parcel delivery. So they did not need the push notification or the mobile button. They just had a QR code printed on the parcel. So they need an ID card to be verified. So that's why they search here for the ID card and choose one from the left side. Alternatively, especially in countries where ID cards are not distributed, they could use a passport, or even, if that's available, a driver's license. So here you see that I can give the user decision options on which ID card or which Keyplet he wants to use. And as a last step, I configure the authentication, because in case of Max, this was a face recognition. So doing that, I now have exactly configured what we saw in Max demo, and I think you now got the point. It's extremely flexible to configure these accesses with Keyp. You can choose from a lot of different solutions and design the workflows and the use cases as you want them and as you need them for your digital service. So let's take one step back and look at what the Keyp Identity Framework already does for users and enterprises. The first step that we described was to hand over a user a digital wallet, an identity wallet where he can manage his own identity and can present it to enterprises if he wants to. The second step is an identity terminal. as you saw, the enterprise can now configure their accesses and can communicate with the wallet of users in the exchange of identity information. And then there is a last piece of the identity landscape that Max described. It is all the identity providers that are already existing and that we have integrated into our technology so that you can use them as enterprises. And they need to be integrated against the wallet, but also the terminal. The wallet needs to perform the identification process, and the terminal needs to make the configuration. And to make this available to enterprises, we have a third component within Keyp that is a marketplace. A marketplace where the first time all identity solutions, all authentication solutions are transparently presented. And you can browse through and have a look on what is available and what you would like to choose for your access management. And we'll have a look on that, obviously, as well. So here you see that coming back from my workflow management, I can access the marketplace. At first, it looks quite similar to all the marketplaces we have, with the one difference that now it shows identity solutions. And we have some featured identities, some featured collections, like the launch event partners we are working here with. The second step are all the Keyplets. You can have a look on all the solutions that are currently available within our marketplace. So nearly everything that you could need to configure your access is already there. Coming back, we have use cases so that you can check out your specific use case, see what we thought about how to use Keyp in your specific industry, and you can test the user experience from there. Further, there are integrations against all standards, and soon there will also come solutions like hosting and archiving for identity terminals. So this is where I can hand over to Max back to make a short summary on what we saw right now.
So, to sum it up again, what is Keyp? Keyp is an identity framework that provides you with a wallet as well as a terminal and a marketplace. We are no identity solution. We are uniting the existing identity solutions, the existing identity providers, to make it easy accessible to all the enterprises that are out there. And let's have a look how this really works. So we have seen a wallet that enables the users to have a one-click experience, not just for login, but for registration, for onboarding as well. So with Keyp, it changed it. It doesn't matter if you already have an account or not, you can just create it with one click. We have the highest level of security implemented, and we have seen that we have a true multi-channel experience. But more importantly, it's not just working in our app. It's not just working in the app you saw before. You can implement it in any device. You can use it via a browser plugin, you can implement it in a machine, and you can even implement it in your own existing apps. On the other side, we have the terminal, where we have this new experience, this new drag and drop mechanism that enables us to do real-time publishing for any digital access we have. We can look at it and see it from a user point of view by having a live simulation and testing it. And the best thing of it, we as enterprises can stick to our existing backends, which means we only have to connect the Keyp infrastructure to it and don't have to change anything in our existing identity access management or in any other system. And last but not least, we give you a marketplace that is full of all kinds of solutions that you can use. It not only allows you to discover new solutions, but for the first time to compare all the existing solutions that are out there. while already providing you with a large set of identity standards, so it's applicable and usable for any system that you are having in your own company. So let's look at the business side. How much does it cost? The wallet will be for free. So we want users to get their ownership of their own identity. This is why we believe that they can't be charged for it. And as we want to enroll Keyp and make it possible for any company, not just the enterprises, but also the small and medium-sized businesses to use Keyp, we will also provide the terminal for free. You can just use it, you can delete your integration costs and just use the providers that are out there and doing a great job. And this is actually the business model of Keyp. We see ourselves as an app store, so we also take 15% commission of any transaction of the pricing of the solutions that are out there. Saying that means you as an enterprise don't have to pay for Keyp because you have implemented the services you're already using so far, and we're charging them for that. When we started this 1.5 years ago, we talked to a lot of great providers, and we were really looking for the best solutions, the best in class that we could find. And we are happy to announce that with this date, we have over 50 companies that joined our marketplace that are providing their solutions for them. So Keyp is a real ecosystem for any identity solution. With over 100 solutions on the platform, we have more than 10 clients we are doing pilots with over 30 million different users of those pilots. So when do we launch? I'm very honored and happy and excited to tell you that the beta will be launched today. All of the things you saw, you can test from now. You can go on the Keyp website, you can click into the marketplace, create your own workflows, and test the Keyp environment to see how it feels, how it looks like, and how it works. And the first live enrollment of one of our infrastructure customers will be announced by November. So within the next 8 to 10 weeks, we are able to show you how it works in a real life use case scenario. Thank you so much, and I'm very happy you all joined. This is Keyp.
Keyp.